Everything needs a sequel nowadays. You've got your Smurfs 2, Open Season 2, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. Props to Sony for avoiding forgettable subtitles. Keep it simple. If it's a sequel, it has a 2. End of story. Ryan on Patreon has been asking me to review every single Sony animation movie, which has led to this Adam Sandler starring sequel to the 2012 hit Hotel Transylvania 2. I was a fan of the previous film, finding it to have fun and stylistic animation, and the characters were lovable enough for me to stay invested. Top it off with a horror-themed nature to the whole thing, and you've got a pretty solid kids movie. With a sequel, they start to do a bunch of tropes that you've seen in so many previous kids' sequels. The younger characters from the first movie grow up and get married, and they eventually have a child who will take the mantle for this movie. All your favorite characters show up, but there's also a family member we've never ever seen before, usually played by an older, high-profile actor. It's like Lion King 2, Shrek 2, Madagascar 2, How to Train Your Dragon 2. When you start thinking about it, these movies kind of have a ton of similar beats and moments, and Hotel Transylvania 2 is no exception. Mavis and Jonathan get married and have a child, which causes the movie to jump about 5 years in the course of 10 minutes. We see the boy grow older, but he still retains his human attributes, showing no signs of being a vampire. Dracula becomes worried that the child will never become one, so when the parents take a vacation, Dracula and the gang decide to train him in the forces of evil. It's a pretty simple story that allows for a lot of funny gags in animated scenarios. In fact, this movie seems to pack in a lot more humor than the last one, and the jokes land a majority of the time. I can't think of anything I straight up groaned at. There also seems to be a bunch more cutaway jokes this time around, which allows for a lot of hilarious moments. The story is so simple that it doesn't require the movie to stay focused on our main group. Most of the cast returns from the original, and they're having just as much fun as the first time around. It's just great to hear all these SNL alumni get together and crack jokes. Like I said with the first movie, not every character has a 100% matching voice, but this is a case where I don't think it's required. It's just fun to know who these voices are. And Mel Brooks joins the cast as Dracula's father, Vlad, named after the real historical figure who was the basis for Dracula. He has a sidekick, a real obnoxious giant bat named Bella. I guess it's supposed to be a nod to Bela Lugosi, but it's only the name. It's not like he goes around with a thick Hungarian accent, which would have been awesome. Mel Brooks doesn't get to work with much, but it's just nice to see him attached to any project, so I can't complain. The animation is phenomenal once again, if not better than the first movie. The shapes and the angles that they pull off are nothing like I've ever seen in computer animation, and it's just further proof that we've only scratched the surface for what's capable with this medium. In fact, while I do love the other animation studios far more than Sony, it's hard to deny that Sony's been pushing the boundaries a lot more than anyone else. They don't have a definitive style, which gives birth to Hotel Transylvanias, or photorealism from Peter Rabbit, or the artistic endeavors of Spider-Verse. I just can't get enough of this wacky filmography that I've been experiencing. I guess my only disappointment is that this series never really achieves the status of being great films. They're fun to watch, they have memorable animation, but it doesn't really have much to offer beyond that. The only thing is, I guess, Dracula is a good stand-in for all those who are resistant and resent the changes in children's education and growth, in that he's shocked when they go to a vampire camp and see that everything has been fixed for safety reasons. They sing happy songs, they're not allowed to jump too high, and if they do, they have a safety net. Dracula's expression is reminiscent of any adult who's ever said, "kids these days." The kids are still finding different ways to learn though, and even some of the other adult characters seem to be accepting of it. Plus, by the end, his grandson does become a vampire, so it could be a message about the ever-changing nature of childhood and how it can be improved, and just because you experience something one way doesn't mean that everybody else has to experience it the same way. Except they don't really go too far with this idea, and I don't think it was intended to. I think it's just meant more for comedy, but it still works. I think I was just reading into some kind of theme because I want more from this movie, even though I'm still satisfied. It's funny and has fantastic fast-paced animation, and it gives us yet another kids movie to enjoy on Halloween.
No, I haven't done this in years. We don't need to kill anymore. We have Pop-Tarts.